is free. So there will be a revolution in this century. Enter me.
He says in parentheses.
Don't be shocked when your history book mentions me. I will lay down my life if it sets us free. Eventually you'll see my ascendancy. And I am not throwing away my shot. I am not throwing away my shot. Hey yo, I'm just like my country. I'm young, scrappy, and hungry. And I'm not throwing away my shot. I am not throwing away my shot. I am not throwing away my shot. Hey yo, I'm just like my country. I'm young, scrappy, and hungry. And I'm not throwing away my shot. It's time to take a shot.
I dream of life without a monarchy. The unrest in France will lead to anarchy.
All right, y'all. We'll wait a few minutes just to make sure that everybody gets in here. And then we'll get going. We can work out too if you guys want to work out. Want to do a quick workout first? Andy looks excited. No? Think he doesn't want to do that? Jim, no? Jim, what are you in a nice log cabin on the lake right now? Yeah. My man. All right, we'll wait one more minute and then we'll get going because we are going to record this. I'm going to send out the video. We'll do like a recap. We'll do I have like a document that I'm going to send everybody, pretty much of like all the guidelines that we have, but also just to give everybody an update. I know there's a lot of people that wanted to join that couldn't for whatever reasons, right? How's everyone doing? Just seeing who's here. Fab's in San Fran. Thanks for joining us all the way from San Fran. Yeah. All right. This is the biggest Zoom class we've ever had. How come I couldn't get you guys at 7 a.m. during the week, huh? Oh, I just love laughing at my own jokes too. All right.
Sleeping in, Pete. Come on.
John, are you in the gym right now? You are. I wonder if, you know what, I didn't even think about, I wonder if anybody joined this class thinking that the class was still going live. So
No, I was in early and no one was there.
good. That's a good thing. All right. Let's get going, y'all. We got everybody. We got pretty much everybody that was going to join, I bet, is in here right now. And if not, like I said, we're going to let them know what's going on so we all feel comfortable. So first things first, let me just make sure everybody's on mute just so it's not getting too crazy in here. First things first, we did a little April Fools on everybody at Dorchester. We thought we were going to be able to open up on this Monday, but Dorchester can't open until the 13th. So Dorchester is going to be a little delayed. Braintree is going to be allowed to open come Monday. So it doesn't give us much time to like really kind of prepare and get things going, but we've been kind of preparing all along and getting things ready in that sense. So we feel confident. We're ready to rock. We've been excited. We were pretty much just waiting to see what the state's guidelines were going to give us, right? What they were going to allow us to do concerning capacity, concerning regulations. And once we learned those things, we were able to kind of tie together the plan. Like we talked about, a lot of things are going to change. Nothing's going to feel the same. It's going to be a little different in the beginning, no matter where we're at, whether it's Braintree or Dorchester. But that's just something that we'll have to get used to, right? Small little sacrifices like this just to get back into the gym around more people. I know the outdoor boot camps have been great. They've been awesome. They've been very busy. It's been great to see everybody. They've been getting the job done for sure. I know there's limited amount of classes. Some people haven't been able to attend some of the time slots that we have. So opening up more times once we're back in the gym it's gonna allow more people to get in there. We're gonna see everybody's face again. And this has been a tough time. We all know like what we've been going through. This is one of the most craziest times of our lives, most likely. This will go down in history. And, you know, a lot of us have been affected in different ways, some probably more than others, but through all of it, we've been trying to keep in touch with everybody and stay in contact and keep everybody motivated and at least entertained with workouts and trying to stay fit and all that good stuff. So we hope we've been able to connect with most of you. I know that some of you out there or some of you who are members haven't been able to join in as much. And we want to do our part in kind of getting you back, getting you fired up again, And the biggest thing that we as the ownership group and the coaches wanted to let everybody know is that we cannot express our support and our love for all you guys, for our love for you guys for supporting us through all this, especially knowing that, you know, it hasn't been everything that we wanted it to be. It's been tough to kind of give you guys everything you deserve. And a lot of you guys don't know this, but this has been one of the hardest times for myself as a business owner. Try to figure out on the fly how to kind of operate things and kind of come up with things here and there. And our team, I tell you what, our team that we have has picked me up at different times and helped me get through this. And, you know, they were there to kind of bounce ideas off each other. And the staff and coaching staff that we have, the ownership group that we have is top notch. Everyone's done an amazing job helping, doing everything they can to get the gyms kind of renovated and give them a little facelift, but also just to kind of keep me on my toes, to like trying to come up with new ways to keep everybody motivated and stay fit. Right. It's tough. It's, you know, it's hard to kind of just think about jumping right back into it, but we're excited. We're ready to get rocking. I know there's a lot of questions that you guys have asked. You've submitted your questions online. We've had about 4 months off, just about. I never would have thought it would be this long when we first started. I never would have thought the best time of my day would be opening up my computer screen and seeing you guys faces early in the morning or late at night, whatever it may be. And it was 4 months of that until we did the boot camp. So it's been tough losing that personal touch, but feels like it's been a lifetime, and I'm super excited to get going, to get back into it. So let's just get started. I won't get into the questions just yet. I'll save those for the end, because I'm pretty sure some of these operation guidelines and stuff like that will probably answer some of the questions that you guys had anyways. And then we'll just kind of dive into them. But based on what the state has kind of released to us, they have a couple different guidelines that are most likely the ones that are the most important to us. I'll bring those up first, and then we'll kind of get into, you know, small details about everything. Basic guidelines, you know, we have to be responsible, right? This is all going to come down to the individual, and I'm talking about each and every one of you guys, the coaches, and so on. We ultimately have the role to do our part, right? It's not nobody else is going to be making you do these things. It's going to come down to you as a person and you individually to follow these guidelines that we give you, but also that have been in place since day one of this quarantine. Nothing's changed, right? We still have to maintain social distancing. We still have to wash our hands, do all that stuff. None of that stuff has changed. That's why Massachusetts has done such a great job at reopening, and we just have to make sure that we continue to do that. So don't come if you're sick. Don't come if you've been around somebody that's sick. Those things we shouldn't have to say those over and over again, but we want you guys to kind of hear it and make sure that you understand that. And that's something that we've reiterated to our staff as well. And all of our coaches, like, we'll be in communication with them at all times to make sure that everyone's feeling healthy, you know, not, you know, if there are any concerns about somebody being sick or whatever, stuff like that, they're advised to stay home. We're going to maintain constant communication and contact with our coaches to make sure that. But if you do, there's a couple things that people were asking about, travel restrictions. I know I mentioned that in that last email. Since then, the state has kind of alleviated some of those restrictions, I guess. If you travel within the New England area, New York, New Jersey, you don't have to quarantine for 14 days. So if you travel outside of that, we're asking, if you do travel for like pleasure and you're going to different states, that you quarantine for 14 days. So that means not coming to the gym for 14 days. That's ultimately, again, your choice to go and travel outside of Massachusetts. So know that we're asking you to do that, right? So just keep that in mind, that we have that in place. We know some of our some people that have been close to us in terms of staff members have done this, and we're already kind of putting things in action to make sure that they also abide by those standards and make sure to quarantine when they come back. So, yes, there will be some adjustments and changes. Specifically, I know Meg just went away, so she's going to be out for the first couple of weeks. So I don't know if she knows that yet. I don't know. So I have to tell her that. But that's something that like we're kind of working with on the fly, right? So, but you have to quarantine for 14 days if you travel outside of the state, outside of the New England area, New York, New Jersey. And if another thing too to think about is I know a lot of people suffer from like seasonal allergies and stuff like that. I personally do. So like I get super self-conscious about myself when I go out in public and I'm like sniffling. I have my Flonase and my Zyrtec and I'm like, shit, people probably think I'm sick, but I'm not sick. So if that's a situation where you have seasonal allergies, please let us know. It's something that like you're constantly fighting so that you come in and you don't, maybe you sneeze a couple of times or whatever, and you're doing it in your shirt or in your mask or whatever. We have to know that like this is something that's a pre-existing, that's there. And it's not just something that, is going to scare people and force them to be like, Pete, I saw so-and-so sneeze today. Make sure you let them know that they can't come, right? So keep that in mind. All right, cool, awesome. All right, that was just something I just wanted to add in there. In terms of classes and operation, the biggest one that we have to abide by is going to be the reservations, right? We all have our Zen Planner app. We all have, we've all been told that we have to reserve our classes. I know in Dorchester, it's been hit or miss. Braintree guys, you guys are pretty good about reserving your class time, but still there are some people that slip through the cracks. You will not be allowed in the gym if you don't reserve your class time. Like that's 100% the most strictest rule that we're going to enforce because that's what we're being asked to do by the state. This goes back to contact tracing and making sure that we understand who's where at what time. So we have to make sure we do that. The coach upon arrival will check you into class manually. All of our coaches have a app on their phone. It's the staff app, so they can check you in when you come in. So don't worry about checking into class. We're not gonna have to touch any screens or anything like that. We're gonna get rid of all those check-in stations. When you come into class, you're gonna be advised to go directly to your spot, right? Actually, let me back up a sec. Face coverings. This was another big issue, or not an issue, but a big question. Face coverings are not required, but they're encouraged for those who feel inclined. They're just not required as long as we maintain a proper distance. And we're going to make sure that the gym is set up that way so that we have that proper distance in place. But they're not required unless you feel inclined to wear one, right? If you do feel inclined to wear one, that is totally okay. Please be respectful of people who choose to wear face masks or who don't choose to wear face masks, right? Ultimately, it's your decision whether or not you want to do it. Where my dad just walked in, right? Perfect timing. So ultimately, it's up to you to determine whether or not you're going to wear one, but also how you're going to act, right? We have to maintain that proper distance. We're going to align the gym and set the gym up so that when you show up, you're going to be able to go directly to your station or your spot. It's going to be marked off, and you're going to have everything there for that class. So whether that's the barbell, plates, kettlebells, clips, all that stuff. Little Petey's crying in the background. All that stuff is going to be there. We have Lysol wipes. We're going to have Lysol wipes at your station. So everything that you need is going to be there. Bands, maybe if you need a foam roller, right? We'll grab you one. We'll give it to you in your spot. But we're going to have everything centrally located at our station, so you don't have to go anywhere, get anything, touch anything, and all that stuff. When you show up to class, there's not going to be any hanging out by the almost like the bench area or where we hang our jackets and all where the cubbies are. You're going to be asked to come prepared to work out, right? So you can still bring like a small bag if you need to with maybe your belongings or anything like that, but you're going to be asked to just come in and just go right to your spot. You're not going to be able to store your clothes, change your sneakers. The days of that, unfortunately, are maybe in the distant future, but we're not going to be allowed to bring any extra accessories or anything like that. If you need to, you're just going to bring it, or you're just going to bring it and just go right to your spot, your position. Positions will be determined by like the coach, first come, first serve basis and stuff like that. But we're going to allow for a proper time between classes so that we can clean and sanitize before you get there. So the state guidelines is 30 minutes. So we have to allot for 30 minutes in between each class So this is going to change the schedule. So this is kind of another big thing that we have to keep in mind, that the schedule is going to change slightly, but this is only what we're allowed to do, right? So we're going to either, what we'll do first for Braintree, since you guys are opening first, is we're going to send you guys an email with the updated schedule and stuff like that and let you guys know what's going on. And then Dorchester, same thing. We'll let you guys know throughout this next week, the updated schedule. But we're going to allow for 30 minutes in between class to sanitize the whole gym or all of the workout areas and make sure that everything's set up, ready to go. So when you come to class, you're just going to be asked to come 5-10 minutes before, whether you have to wait in your car outside before you come in or whatnot. But once you come inside, it's just go directly to your spot, one of the stations that's available. And then we're just going to kind of get ready to get right into class, right? Not going to be able to come down, sit down. And I know that sucks, because honestly, that's one of my favorite parts of the class, is to come in and see everybody and to hang out and to talk and to, like, if anybody knows Jim, he's pretty much a stool at Dorchester. We're going to just make a statue of him right by the front desk. He comes for the 4:30 class and he doesn't leave till 6:30. So that, those are the things that I love. That's the things that we all love about CrossFit. And unfortunately, in the beginning, it's going to be different. We're not going to be able to do those things. Claire, sorry. Sorry, I'm trying to talk to these guys. Stop scaring them. My dad's scaring the baby. So those are the things that we're going to have to adjust and just change as we go along. So please do your best to just work with us, right? Work with us as we go along. It's going to be a work in progress. It's going to be a progressively get better. We'll start to alleviate some of the regulations and stuff, but come into class, right to your station, right to your spot. Limit your items that you bring, minimal items that you bring, phone, wallet, keys, anything like that, you can bring right to your station. If you have like a weight belt, you can obviously bring that. If you need to, I don't know, I'm trying to think of other stuff. Chalk, personal chalk. So that leads to the next thing. We're not going to have any chalk in the gym anymore. So we're not going to be allowed to share chalk individually in the gym. You are allowed to bring your own container of chalk if you want to do that. What we're going to do is, as like a gift to everybody, is I'm working on getting individual chalk for people to kind of to give to everybody individually. There's a company that makes this chalk it's like a paste chalk. It actually works great. I know it sounds crazy, but it's like a tube of paste chalk, but it has hand sanitizer in it. So I already contacted the company about getting that. So everyone will get their own individual little like sample size one. And it's, I know some people are obsessed with chalk. I don't use chalk, never used it. Maybe a little underneath the eyes for eye black, but that's about it. But for the most part, everyone will have that. We won't have any chalk inside the gym anymore. That just eliminates touch points and all that stuff. So that was another big thing that we wanted to bring up. No sharing of equipment. I think that's pretty straightforward. Somebody had actually asked that in one of the questions, but absolutely no sharing of equipment. This is going to be one of the challenges, obviously, because we working out in general, we always would, all right, pair up, go share a rack and get into XYZ or whatever. Fortunately, in the beginning, we're not going to be able to do that. So class structure is obviously going to feel a little different. It's going to change a little bit. The classic model of, okay, we hit our strength and then we go into the workout is going to be a little it's going to have to adjust just a little bit. And we're still working that out. We're still working out how we're going to kind of manipulate the class style. And it might be good to try something different, right? Where we just went through a phase where we've been working out at home with just a dumbbell, just a kettlebell. It's shocking the body in different ways. Now we're going to the outdoor boot camp series, different style workouts. So we're kind of manipulating the methodology to kind of fit what we need at this current time. And right now we're just going to do the same thing. We're going to start to adjust. We're going to adapt as we're allowed to kind of open up and alleviate some of these restrictions and regulations and just work with what they give us, right? And do our best to get the most out of it. That's the best that we can do. So no sharing of equipment, pretty straightforward. Use of gym showers in Dorchester won't be allowed. So no showering in Dorchester. I know we don't have to worry about that in Braintree. I know I mentioned all the equipment will be at your station. This does include like bands, all that stuff. So I'm just going through my list right now. One big thing is it'll be absolutely imperative that you guys reduce the footprint of yourself. What I mean by that is there's not going to be any like wandering about the gym. and, you know, going from area to area, it's going to be almost like stay in your lane and do your best to stay in your lane. We have to reduce our footprint as best as possible. Mentioned the 30 minutes in between classes. No self check-in. Coaches will check you in. Again, just going through the list again. Still must reserve those classes. That's rule number 1. No self-checkout of concessions. So if you want to kill Cliff, Waters, all that stuff, the days of going in, grabbing one and checking yourself out, they're in the future, hopefully, but they're as of right now, we can't do that. If you need any of that stuff, just ask a coach, or if there's somebody working the desk, ask one of them to help you out. Personal training, no open gym. So there's not going to be any open gym allowed for the foreseeable future. I don't know how long that's going to last. Might last just until step 2 of phase 3, or maybe phase 4. But for right now, we can't allow just for open gym use, right? If you want to schedule personal training sessions during the open gym times, or if you want to schedule any sort of one-on-ones with coaches, you can obviously still do that. If you want to work on some extra stuff, by all means, that is still in place. But we cannot just expect to go just to open gym time and wander about the gym and be all over the place. We have to kind of limit everything to just go in, go right to your spot, and that's it. So that's for the most part, like the operations of coming in, going to class and all that stuff. In terms of cleaning and sanitation, it's going to be on you guys, each individual member, to walk in and then sanitize your hands. We installed all new brand new hand sanitizer stations at both gyms. I think there's like 3 or 4 at each one. I think there's going to be 2 more on the way. They're like those stand. It's just a stand. It's going to be right at the front door. So literally right when you walk in, you can just go right at it. They're all contactless. They're all contactless hand sanitizer. You just, put your hand underneath it and they give it to you. You know what I mean? So that takes care of that. We are advising, I know I shouldn't have to say this, you have to wash your hands and sanitize your hands if you use the bathroom. So this sounds crazy, but there was a time when, before we went into the lockdown, that we kind of started to kind of institute some of these things, like make sure to wash your hands, make sure to sanitize your hands and stuff. And I got a message from somebody saying like, hey, I saw so-and-so come out of the bathroom and like, I know they didn't wash their hands. And like, I'm like, well, how do you know they didn't wash their hands? But that's what happens, right? People notice. So don't let that happen to you. So just make sure to wash your hands. Come out with extra wet hands, maybe just air dry so that people can know. I'm just kidding. You don't have to do that. But we have all new bathrooms. Another cool thing, right? We have renovated bathrooms in Dorchester and Braintree. We blood, sweat, and tears in those places, right? So we did a lot of work to kind of give it a nice facelift. But everything should be set up so that you can wash your hands. Paper towels ready to go. Don't leave paper towels on the ground, right? Or else I'll call you out. But for the most part, make sure to wash your hands, sanitize your hands. One big thing that I didn't mention above in the previous part was fans. We can't use fans, right? We can't use fans anymore in the gym, right? Crazy, nuts, but we can't do it. So there is the possibility that some of us are going to be sweating profusely, very, very badly, myself included. So if that's the case, if you are a heavy sweater like myself, it gets really muggy, I sweat a shit ton, right? This shirt will turn dark green. If that's the case, bring a towel with you, right? Bring your own personal towel or something like that. You can lay it on the ground. The last thing we want to do is leave this giant puddle in the station that you just worked out in, and for the next person, all right? You just want to keep that in mind. We will be cleaning each station individually. We have the Bulldog scrubber in Dorchester. We're working on getting another one for Braintree, but we will be mopping down the different areas if that's the case. That's why we have the 30-minute time window in between each class. But we can do our part to do our best to kind of reduce our footprint, or rather our sweat print on the floor, right? I know part of the CrossFit workout is you finish the workout, you lay on the ground, and it's cool. You see the little sweat angel and all that stuff, and that's great. But we're going to have to do our best just to kind of reduce that as best we can. My recommendation is just bring a towel. If you need to do burpees on the ground, lay the towel on the ground, get your sweat all over that. Or if you bring your own personal yoga mat, bring your own yoga mat, just like we've been doing at boot camp, right? So a couple different options there to kind of eliminate your sweat getting everywhere. And again, this might not apply for everybody. Some people don't sweat as much. Maybe you're not working as hard. I don't know. But some people don't. I sweat like a madman. And I know some of us out there do the same thing. So just make sure to kind of be courteous. Think about those things. So getting back to where are we at? Cleaning, sweat, bring towel. All right, we're going to allow for that. Sorry, I'm just running through the list here. Just so you guys know, we are doing staff screenings as well. So like we'll be maintaining that upkeep or maintaining staff contact just to make sure that they're feeling okay. They haven't been exposed to anybody. So that's something that's going to fall on us to just keep them up to date, just to keep on them. Pretty sure that's all the notes that I have, but in terms of questions, you guys brought up some great questions. Some of them might have been answered right there. First question that came through actually was, what is the plan for sanitizing, right? Pretty straightforward question. I think we answered that. We have all brand new disinfectant sprays. Actually, I didn't say this part. We have all brand new disinfectant sprays, pump bottles where we're literally just hosing stuff down. The solutions that we have are air dry, so they dry within like 10 to 15 minutes. So that's something that we can do in between classes, is spray down areas with disinfectant spray. These are from companies that have been started up since the beginning that have specifically catered to gyms to help them alleviate these problems that they've seen where, okay, gyms might use Lysol wipes, they might clean, but maybe they don't have a spray that dissolves and evaporates or dries quickly. So that's something that we will have, is we have a pump bottle in both places with a spray. It's almost like going in the garden and spraying it down in that sense. So those are a couple things we have. And obviously all the hand sanitizer stations, everybody's going to have a tube of Clorox wipes at their station. So know that you'll have that with you to wipe down your stuff, which leads me to a great point. Actually, at today's boot camp, somebody brought this up. It was Barry. I don't know if Barry's in here, but Barry, my man Barry, had a great point. I mentioned to him the struggle with finding Lysol wipes and how hard it was for us to get them at the gym. We usually have them on subscription, and when this all started, they started delaying our shipments because of essential workers and so on. Totally understandable. But we weren't able to get many of our shipments. Up until about maybe a month ago, we got a couple in. So we got 2 big shipments in, which were good, which are huge because that's what we needed to get started. But we're still getting delays in those shipments. So they're still delaying some of them. So he mentioned to me, he's like, put it out there in the meeting to anybody who's out at the store, you're out shopping. If you guys see Lysol wipes in bulk that you can get, even if it's 1 or 2, and you're like, hey, I don't need them, but the gym could probably use them, grab them. We'll reimburse you. We'll give you the money back, obviously. But that is going to be huge to help kind of keep that stock, keep that supply of Lysol wipes going. And I know you probably want them for yourself, but if you can grab an extra one, if you see extra, by all means, grab it. We'll take it. We'll pay you guys for it. No problem. No questions asked. I thought that was a pretty cool suggestion. We have, what was the next one? How are you going to enforce class limits and signing up? This is actually pretty funny. Pre-pandemic, there would often be 5 people signed up for a class and 14 would arrive. Coaches will be checking Zen Planner and turning people. No, he said, coaches will be checking Zen Planner and turning people away if they are not signed up prior to class? The answer is yes. We cannot accept anybody into the actual gym without us knowing that they're coming. So normally class reservations end 1 hour before class. We did this because most of the time it would be pretty lackadaisical. You'd show up, you'd be on your way to the gym, or maybe you're coming from work and you'd sign up, you'd reserve your class time, and then hop right in. Now we're going to kind of bump that back. We're probably going to do a couple of hours so that we can make sure we know who's coming at what time. So there won't be any, well, there will be a limit to how many So essentially what we did before was we pushed it back to a day before. So if you remember with the boot camp, we pushed it back to a full day before that you could reserve your class. We're going to do the same thing for this. That way it allows for everybody to have like an equal opportunity to sign up for their desired class. You obviously might not get your desired class depending upon the class capacity, but that's why we're going to have to get the schedule out there and show you the class times so that you can start to prepare ahead of time. If by chance you can't get into class and you're having trouble reserving that class time, please reach out to me, right? We're not trying to restrict anybody from coming to the classes that they want to. We can figure out something. We've been doing this since March. We've been working and figuring out ways on the fly. So please just reach out. We're always open to communicate and to talk and to try and figure out the best possible solution. It's never going to be, this is the way and that's it. We're always open to talking to you guys and trying to figure out what the best possible answer is for everything. So please reach out if you can't get into your class. Next question was, what is the plan for spacing? Can we use the outdoors? I think this one was directed towards Dorchester, but this is yes and no. We are going to use outside, but this doesn't allow us to add more people per class based upon the regulations of our square footage and what we can allow per 1,000 feet of square feet. So we can use the outdoors, we can use out back, but we can't use like out front or anything like that. Braintree, same idea. We can use the outside, we can bring the bikes outside if we need to or whatever and do stuff like that, but it's not going to allow us to add more people. We can't use weights, the barbells and stuff like that outside. So we're going to be kind of working on the fly in that sense of, if we know what the workout is, maybe we can set some stuff outside and go on from there. Next one was classes where we don't have to share workout space in the, no. I think the way they worded this was, I'd like to see more classes where we don't have to share workout space in the rig, or equipment as barbells, whatever, and so on. We're not going to be sharing equipment, so that's nothing to worry about. Don't worry about sharing equipment. We're not going to do it. Work on the rig is as much as it's desired, it's going to be very limited because of space, right? So we're going to have to figure out times and ways to get creative with classes so that we can still get work done on the rig, but still maintain proper distancing. It's going to be very tough, right? I know Jim's very excited to do a lot of pull-ups. It's all he wants to do. So we'll make sure. Sorry, Jim, you're the only one I can see. You just pulled up right in front of me, so I just had to say that. Keep that in mind. We're not going to be sharing equipment until further notice, until maybe the next step, or who knows, maybe not for a long time. Traveling, somebody said driving to a low risk state and staying with family who has since been on lockdown, would you still need to quarantine and keep away from the gym? As long as you're staying within New England, New York, New Jersey, and you're not exposed to anybody that's been exposed to the virus, you're good to go. You don't have to quarantine. This is for people who travel outside of that allowed area, the quarantine and so on. Let me go through the questions here. We had a couple of questions asking if it would be like these ones were already answered, but asking if it would be mandatory to register for class. Absolutely, without a doubt. When is Elements restarting? So Elements are restarting actually next week. Sean McDonough is going to start contacting people to schedule their one-on-ones. The thing with the Elements is if they're in their Elements classes, it's one-on-one training, so they can come in during open gym times and get those classes out of the way. I know there were a lot of people in the middle of Elements when we went down, so they'll be trying to finish out their Elements classes and so on. And then the last question, which we got in multiple different ways, is actually a majority of the questions that we got, was will we be continuing the outdoor boot camp classes? And I know this is it's one of them. I love it. I love being outside. I love doing these classes outside. The only thing that's difficult with the outdoor classes is that you have the same equipment that we've had since March, right? So we're trying to get creative and get away from just using the same equipment that we've been using. What I think is most people are enjoying the style of the boot camp class as well, right? The style of it. It's a little bit different than CrossFit. It's fun being in a different area. I totally agree. Technically right now, we're pretty much just squatting on these places. We have no permits. We're not doing this legally. If somebody showed up, I'd probably tell them that we're just a group of friends working out and hanging together, right? We've been kind of just makeshift getting this done so that we can get this extra work in. We do want to continue to provide that style class for everybody. The hardest part is going to be staffing and time scheduling, right? So taking away a CrossFit class and adding a boot camp class inside of the gym. Adding a boot camp class coinciding with the same time as a CrossFit class would allow for double the amount of staff in a way. So this is something that we're working out. We're not eliminating it by any means. I love it. I want to do it. I think big picture in terms of where we're at in the gym, where we're at in 617, I want to, I've talked to many people about this, creating a bigger entity in a way where we can do these things, where we can have multiple style classes going on at different times. Unfortunately, we're in a time right now where we're limited on capacity. We're limiting on time specifically. having to clean in between classes. So that's kind of like our the dagger right now is we have to allot for 30 minutes in between each class, which is reducing the amount of time that we can actually schedule out classes. And if we wanted to stagger classes and do a CrossFit and then a boot camp and so on. What we will do, we will continue to do, and we will do this in Braintree as well, is the 8 a.m. boot camp class. I'm still going to continue to do that outdoors. I think it's a great opportunity to get people outside of the gym on one of our busiest days, to not limit the amount of, or to limit the amount of contacts inside of the gym and people gravitating to the gym. I know it's some place that we love to hang out on Saturdays. One of my favorite days is going on Saturday and just hanging out. But like we said, that stuff is gonna be the stuff that's changed. And if we can eliminate or alleviate some of the capacity restrictions by doing an outdoor boot camp on Saturdays, that's what we're gonna do, right? So we have Braintree and we have Dorchester. We'll continue to figure out ways to staff at least that outdoor Saturday boot camp class. And we obviously want to still mix in some outdoor classes here and there when we can. But I know that for the majority of people, you want to be back in the gym, you want to be using the barbell, you want to figure out ways to we want to get back on the rig eventually, essentially. And that's going to be the biggest benefit of being in the gym, is getting to those things that we've missed so much. I think that's pretty much most of the questions. Some of the other questions I've already answered, and they were pretty straightforward questions. Like I said, a majority of the questions we got, a very, very high percentage, have to do with the outdoor boot camp classes. And I think some people actually submitted multiple questions the same way. I can actually see who submits questions, and I know that some people ask the same question in a couple different ways. But it makes me understand that this is something that excites them or is fun for them. And if you haven't been to an outdoor boot camp class, and it could just be because of the time, and we understand that. We're trying to do our best to allow for everybody to make it during those times. That's one of the hardest things right now, is the schedule. What is the schedule? It's been so hard the last day, once we got the regulations, to figure out how many people we can fit. Braintree being the most immediate kind of course of action that we have to get to right away. Dorchester, we have that week of delay, but that's been the hardest challenge right now. The biggest hurdle is how many people, how many classes, how do we allow for everybody to have the opportunity to come and get their workouts in, right? Somebody did mention something about not feeling comfortable. This is a great question. Not feeling comfortable about coming back to the gym. So again, that's going to be totally up to you, right? If you don't feel comfortable in any which way, please do not come. And also reach out and let us know. Let us know why, because I want to understand what is the immediate threat, what's going through your mind. That's the only way for us to kind of figure out the best course of action internally. I want to do our best to make you feel comfortable, right? We need to work together to all accomplish this. But if you don't feel comfortable coming to the gym based upon the guidelines that we were given and the guidelines that we're going to be using, it's ultimately your choice. I think the question was even worded in a way of like, what will happen to the membership? So the membership, if our membership isn't providing you guys with a service that you can utilize, if we're not giving any product to you at all, we don't expect you to pay a membership. Before we had to shift our model to an online virtual class. We lent out all the equipment. That was the model that we had to shift to. We're going to continue to honor that rate for the foreseeable, maybe the next month or so, just to allow people to ease back into it until we feel comfortable with the product that we're given to amp up the rates again. So if you remember back in March, we cut off the date at March 27th. So anybody after March 27th was given that lower rate of the $99. So what we planned on doing was after July 27th, that would be essentially 4 months, is when we would kick the regular rates back in. But we're not just going to do that unless we feel like we're providing the proper product that we can give you guys. As long as we're getting in the gym and doing that, we'll feel comfortable going back to like regular rates and stuff. But if you have any questions ever about like membership stuff, I know like it can be awkward talking about those things at times, but I I encourage those conversations. I encourage talking about that stuff. I know a lot of you have reached out and we've had some great conversations, and it's helped me to, you know, to refocus different thoughts in different areas and make sure that we're accommodating everybody at all times. And the biggest thing about that is I understand a lot of you guys have solely been supporting us, right? In a sense where you haven't been utilizing some of the products or some of the services that we've been giving you. And though that gratitude, we can't express that, right? You should honestly feel proud that our gym didn't lay off any full-time members, full-time staff. All of our full-time staffers have gotten their full paycheck for the past 4 months. All of our part-time employees are coming back. They're coming back, you know, to whatever they want to do. We're giving them the opportunity to work whatever they want. So all of our full-time staffers appreciate that. We appreciate you guys for sticking with us, because honestly, if we didn't have the support and the community that we did, there's a very high chance that we would probably just not be able to open up again, right? And that was like the hard truth that we were facing for so long. In the beginning, seeing like, okay, this is going another month. This is going another month. Like, we have to make sure that we can actually open the doors. And knowing that we had the support, knowing that we had the team behind us was something that, you know, we'll never forget. But we're always going to be fighting to do our best for you guys, and always going to be try to get better to provide the best product possible. But if there's ever like a situation that you feel uncomfortable about anything at all, you know the type of person I am. I love conversations. I love talking about anything and everything. And because it only helps us grow. It only helps us get better. It only helps us improve what we're giving you guys. And I know we're not, what was the words that Baker said? We're not doing a victory lap, right? This isn't we're back in the gym and we're just going back to our old routines and we're just going to be high-fiving everybody. This is still going to be a work in progress, a struggle. It's going to feel weird. It might even be frustrating. It might even be, you know, you might be like, oh man, is it even worth me going? But I guarantee once we just think about those first few Zoom classes you might've done. Once you got those under your belt, you got used to it, you started depending on them and so on. So I think once we get going inside of the gym, it's just going to start to feel better. You're going to see people a little bit more. You're going to be back in the old stomping ground. And, you know, working out in general obviously makes you feel better about yourself and gives you that feeling of accomplishment. So I'm excited to get everybody back in. I know there might be still some questions out there. We still have to send out the schedule for everybody. So that's something that we'll put into paper, we'll put into writing, get to you guys as soon as possible. Braintree people specifically, Braintree members specifically. Dorchester, you're going to have a little bit of time before we send you that schedule. And this is like I don't want to say a document, but you know how I can write forever. I'm going to kind of bring all this stuff together. I've been reading off of my notes here and there, but I'm going to bring it all together and try and make it cohesive so that you guys can see it and just run through it before we get going. Not one last thing, but one thing that I didn't mention was, I know some of the people in Dorchester already got this. We have a new COVID waiver, right? COVID-19 waiver. You will need to sign this to come back to the gym. So this is like a standard COVID release of whatever type waiver. It's going to be electronic. So you're going to get a notification via Zen Planner that says that you have to sign this document. It's going to be an electro sign or whatever they're called, DocuSign. And you're going to have to submit that before you can reserve your classes. So it won't even allow you to reserve classes until you do that. So that's something to know. Another thing that just popped in my mind was new members. A few people have asked about accepting new members and so on and so forth. We're not necessarily going to be accepting new members like with open arms. It's going to have to come at the right time. So we've had so many people reach out about joining the gym during this period. We love to be able to just accept everybody as is, but we want to make sure that you guys feel comfortable. You have access to all the classes before we start to open the doors to everybody. Accepting people into Elements program is different because we can schedule those one-on-one, right? So we can do that. But for the everyday CrossFitter that might have moved to the area, it's going to be at a very limited basis right now based upon our capacity limit. So we would never overcrowd the gym and not allow you guys to get a spot in your classes that you want by adding new members right away. Like that's as much as we know that we need to do that over the next couple of months in order to sustain a healthy business. It's not something that we're just itching to do and promote all these crazy deals to get people back in the door. It's just not what we're going to do. We're dedicated to making you guys feel comfortable and happy and getting back to our old ways, right? I'm just going through the chat right now. I didn't even notice this chat was going on. Can we use the bathrooms during the class? Oh, yeah, absolutely. I know some of you guys like to use the bathroom right before the class starts, and that's fine. It's all good, right? You can still do that, but we have to reduce the footprint, right? So if you need to use the bathroom before you leave your house, God knows how many times we've come to the gym, people go right into the bathroom, do their business, and then come out, right? Try to do that stuff at home. Try to come ready to work out. Be ready to kind of get right after it. We're talking 5 to 10 minutes before class is when we're going to allow people to enter and go right to their spot. When you're coming to class, again, make sure that you're kind of keeping an eye on where everybody is and stagger that entrance. Do your business at home. Get it out of the way, right? You can still use the bathroom if you need to. The bathrooms we didn't renovate them for nothing. We want you guys to see them and use them. So keep that in mind that you can use the bathrooms. Let me see what else we got. If there were any other questions. Carbon sweatprint. That's a good one. I like that. Will you able to use fan to dry the spots between classes? No. So we won't be able to use fans to dry the spots. It does get slippery, but that's the benefit of having that half-hour window now. So we have a full half hour. Oh, wait. So we could essentially use fans to dry in between classes, but we just can't use them during classes. So I think that was the question. Yeah. So we can use fans to dry them, but we just can't use fans during the classes. Some gyms have been, because I'm in this Reopen Massachusetts gym owners group on Facebook, and they've been lobbying with the state to try and reduce some of these restrictions and guidelines. And some of the gyms have been complaining about the fan issue, and some of them are just not even. They're just gonna use fans, right? They're just like, we can't not use fans where we're at, and they're gonna position them in ways where it just blows directly down one way, and like that's about it. But you guys know how hot it can get inside of Dorchester and Braintree in those kind of like 4 to 6 p.m. or the 3 to 5 p.m. time zones with the sun coming through the windows. So we're going to do our job to try and get some shades on the windows, try and alleviate some of that heat that comes in. But we'll also be having the doors open at all times, right? We'll have to do that. Doors will be kicked open, have some nice airflow so that we're not suffocating in there. Dorchester, same idea. We're going to do our best to, it's very limited what we can do for getting a little Pete yelling, for adding some airflow, but it's going to get sweaty. We know that. We're getting into like really the dog days of summer. So it's going to be tough. And I know we're all expecting it, but we're also all excited as to what's to come. That you guys are nuts. All right. South Bay Target had wives. Dude, grab them, pick them up. All right. Will there be a wait list for class? Yes, we will allow a wait list for class. So every class will have a wait list, but the wait list doesn't mean that you can go to the class, right? You still have to be allowed into the class. So if you reserve your spot and you're not going to show up, you have to cancel your spot. You have to unreserve. We don't want to get to the point where we're like adding fines to people, but if we have to do that it's happening so many times, we're going to threaten you guys with fines. We would never charge you guys, so I'll be honest. But we would threaten you with fines, and I would give you 3 strikes, and I'd do something. I'd make you pay in some way, maybe burpees or something like that. But make sure to cancel your class reservation if you're not going to show up. Key, because that's going to allow somebody else to get into that spot, especially in the beginning when class sizes are going to be very, very small compared to like what we're used to. We're used to like in Dorchester, classes of 20-something people on Saturdays. Love that. Gets me fired up just thinking about it. I love it, but we're not gonna be there for a little while, right? Let's see. Excuse me. Yeah. Yes. Can the option to cancel be included after reserve option is closed? Can the option to cancel be included? I don't know what that means. Pete, what is the projected class size? Ooh, good one. So projected class size. Right now, we're thinking like anywhere from like 7 to 9 people or 6 to 9 people. We're going to try to add a class here and there when we can. The good thing is I know that a lot of people still are just working from home and have the luxury of kind of being flexible with their schedule. So we're going to try to allow for more classes throughout the day. And then if it comes down to it, if we have to like reach out to people and be like, hey, can you move to this class instead of doing this class? We'll do it. I don't mind doing that. If somebody's really struggling, it's the only class they can make, they work 9 to 5 and they can only make a certain class, I don't mind doing that stuff. Obviously it's going to take a lot to kind of work with everybody, but we're going to do our best, and we have to do this as a team. This is going to be one of those things that it's a total group effort to get this done the right way. Because one wrong move in a way could just set us back a little bit. And we just don't want to get to that point at all. So as long as we're super cautious, as long as we continue to do what we've been doing, continue to abide by washing your hands, sanitizing your hands, just don't show up if you feel sick at all. We'll be good. I know that. When it comes down to it, we've been doing this for 4 months now, right? Nothing is new. This shouldn't be anything that's crazy dramatic in terms of the changes that we're making. It's pretty much everything we've known. We're just kind of bringing it into the gym now, right? So we're going to allow for proper distancing and make sure that we have stations set up for everybody so you guys feel comfortable. And again, if you do not feel comfortable, please let me know. Reach out. Just let me know. We can talk about it, figure it out. But I want to know why, right? That's one thing, and then we'll figure out ways to at least ease your comfort in a way, or to just work with you in a sense. That's never been an issue. I don't think I always make it a point to be open lines of communication, talk to you guys. I feel like that's half of my job, sitting at the front desk sometimes, is just chatting with people, and that's what I love. That's what I love to do. So I don't mind questions. I encourage them. Right now it says it won't let you cancel a reservation once it's an hour before class. Correct. So cancel before that, right? If you're hesitant, if you're up in the air that you're not going to make it, cancel that class before then, right? Don't be selfish. Don't be selfish. Know that somebody else is waiting to get in there. Now, if there's 9 spots in the class and there's 4 people signed up and you're pushing the limits, yeah, you could probably wait a second and see if you're going to make it. But know that just think at all times, somebody's trying to get into your spot. Just think of it that way. It's probably not the case, but just please think of it like, try to be as courteous as possible. Extra weekend classes, absolutely. Absolutely. Everything is on the table right now. The good thing is Braintree has a smaller member base, and we have a week to work with Braintree to kind of see how it goes. And then we can kind of figure out like, okay, we're going to need to add classes here. We're going to need to add classes here. And it's something that we're just going to be doing over time. Next week, we might adjust the schedule a little bit to work with people in different ways, or the week after that. It's going to be, like I said, it's all going to be a work in progress. Nothing is set in stone. The only thing that is set in stone right now are those guidelines on come in, go to your spot, make sure you sanitize your hands, reserve your class. All those things will be in place for the foreseeable future. That's always going to be the case, as long as, I think it's until like the new norm is like the vaccine, right? In that sense. So we just have to make sure we continue to do that. One that says, can you attend both boot camp and CrossFit class the same day? So that's something that we're going to limit. We're going to reduce the amount of so if that's one thing that we never ever wanted in general, we would never want you to do 2 classes back to back. Now that's a whole other podcast that me and Mullen have for you guys about training and all that stuff. And we'll get into that. But doing 2 classes back to back, no, for now we have to, that's just out of the question, just because there's probably what if there's somebody else that's just waiting to get into a class? We have to reduce the amount of people that are funneling in and out of the gym as much as we can in the beginning, right? For now, this is all for now. And again, we still don't know. We're still trying to work out the boot camp kind of angle right now to figure out how we can incorporate it, because boot camp should be its own separate program, right? Completely separate from the CrossFit program. That was the hurdle/challenge that we were dealing with, running the outdoor boot camp classes along with the at-home programming, trying to balance that kind of the ebbs and flows of strength in the boot camps and the strengths during the at-home workout. So we know that a lot of you guys have really enjoyed the outdoor stuff, and I think that's just mainly because of you get to be around everybody and we're enjoying the classes together. if it's something that you guys are enjoying when it comes to this, come say hi. If it's the style of the workouts that you're talking about, which I think some of you guys are, you've reached out about, please be sure to let me know about that, because that's something that we want to know, right? That's like adding something to it. There's little Pete. There he is. What up, dude? Douche. So please reach out about that stuff. Yeah, that's cool. I don't have much more in my actual notes. I'm going through the questions one more time. Some of them were repetitive. And I don't know, I did cut off the question submission like 15 minutes before we were going to start. So I don't know if people are trying to get questions in. So if you have any questions that we might not have touched on that are just about, generally reopening and stuff like that, if it's something personal about your, maybe it's something to do with your membership, or, whoa, what was that? What the heck was that? Please just message or send us an email. I have no problem talking to you guys. I think I give my phone number to everybody. The phone number to me is the phone number to the gym. And, I have no problem to communicating with you guys that way, or whatever it takes, hopping on a call. I love talking face-to-face or on the phone, obviously face-to-face, 6 feet apart. But if that's ever an option for you guys, give me a call. Is Nelson? Hey, there's Nelson. Please, if you have any other questions, you can do them in the private chat. You can send me private chats if you have any specific questions that you might not have thought of, or maybe you're like, wait, he didn't say this, or whatever. Look at all these people, dude. Can you believe all these people want to work out? I can't believe it either. I know. He just wants to eat. Look at Nelson. I bet that's all Nelson wants to do too. Anything else? Anybody? No? Little Petey is hungry. He's always hungry. Always hungry. Any of you guys? Oh, where's Aurora? Huh? There you go. Any other guys have anything to say? Like Feeney, Mullen, Jordan. I know you guys are in here. Fab, Sean, Mike, Lindsay. Any of the coaches want to say anything or anything like that? Like you don't have to. I'm just. I didn't know if you had any specific. The schedule. So I just got a message. When do we expect to get the schedule out? That's going to be like tonight or tomorrow. So trying to do it as soon as possible so that you have the time to reserve the classes. Because I feel like people are just kind of waiting to it's almost like the refresh. But we'll send you the email out to let you know it's live, ready to go. That's going to be my 4th of July weekend. And you know what? I love it. I wouldn't rather be doing anything else than doing this. 100% honest, like being able to know that we get to open at least one of the places on Monday is like one of the coolest things that I could possibly express. And then we got to wait. Then we get to do it all over again come next Monday. So it's like Christmas morning, two weeks in a row, right? Anything else?
Pete, so I know no one asked about Dorchester. If we're going to do boot camps for Dorchester, I would imagine that's definitely going to happen because we need Dorchester to still have the option of working out. So
totally,
boot camps will definitely continue for next week. Maybe we can even add some. So we'll try to get a schedule to you guys as well about like how many we can get and time wise what'll work. I know it's going to be warm next week, so afternoons.
And keep in mind too, guys, like for all the Braintree members, you're more than welcome to attend those boot camps in Dorchester. I know it might be a little bit of a troop, but we've had members go to either or, and it's awesome. I love when that happens. I think that's one of the coolest parts is being able to kind of to go to different places and join in and see different people and all that stuff. And I will say after coaching today's Braintree boot camp, you guys might be a little spoiled over there with that Braintree track. That thing is nice. That thing is really nice. You know what? I do love the beach, but it's just getting dirtier and dirtier with like people showing up and they're just like dumping their trash out now. So I did get a leaf blower, so I'm going to be blowing trash out of the way for us come next week. So great point, Feeney. Forgot about that. Who won that class? Good one, Mike. Good one. All right. So appointments for personal training. Very, very straightforward. If you guys need to make any, somebody had asked following up, just shoot us an email. I'm going to be the one to kind of help manage, schedule that, because we have to make sure we know who's where at what times with each people. So like if you're working with a specific coach, we have to make sure we know who you're with at all times. So we have a separate schedule going on that we have to keep track of. Again, this is all just part of the state guidelines and regulations for contact tracing. Like God forbid anything like that would ever happen, that we need to pull it up. Yeah. So Braintree boot camp, not necessarily, it's not off effective immediately. We just have to figure out if we can incorporate some of them next week, and if it makes sense staff wise and class capacity wise. So it might say if it is, Petey, why are you mad? If it is off for next week, that doesn't necessarily mean it's off for good. It's just that we just need time to figure out the best course of action to get it back in place, right? But next week, it's going to be all about opening the gym, making it the best place possible for you guys, making it the safest place possible. And you know why he's mad, right? What, he just wants more food. He just can't wait. He just needs bite after bite. Why are you so sad, bro? Don't be sad. All right. Yeah, so we're going to get that schedule out to you guys ASAP. I hope we've at least tried to answer as many questions as possible. I appreciate each and every one of you guys for actually taking the time to come in and listen. I know some of you guys couldn't make it. Some of our members couldn't make it. But for everybody that did make it and join in, I appreciate each and every one of you guys. And I say this from the bottom of my heart, and I know all of the coaches feel the same way. We can't thank you guys enough that you've stuck it out with us this whole time. And we promise to do everything we can to keep you motivated, keep you active, and keep pushing you as hard as we can, as hard as we know, to make everybody better. And once we get back in the swing of things, I know it's going to come back like that. I know everyone's been worried about losing their strength and all those things and not being able to do certain movements again. But I guarantee once we get back in there and start hitting things like we used to, it's all going to come back, and it's like riding a bike, right? We've been stuck with a dumbbell or a kettlebell for almost 4 months now. And I know we want to get onto the barbell, onto the rig, and it's all going to come in due time. And we're going to be kicking some ass. I did get another question. Attending classes at other locations. Yeah. So we did get an ask from one of the members. This is a great question. Can't believe it wasn't asked. We got asked because there's a stagger in the classes, in the reopening. So Braintree's opening this week. Dorchester's opening next week. Somebody said, well, can I go to Braintree if I'm a Dorchester member? For now, no, we can't have that, just because we have to make sure that all of the Braintree members have access right away, first and foremost. But what we're doing is like kind of in the background, we're working on ways to merge the two in a sense where you can go to either place at any time in the future and not have to worry about that. That's all something that's like behind the scenes stuff that I can't bore you with and don't want to bore you with, but it's something that we've been working on and we want to one day hopefully accomplish. And for now, we have to stay at our current home base. So Dorchester members in Dorchester, Braintree and Braintree, just for the sake of capacity and so on. Good question though, love it. And again, if you guys have any other questions that you might, oh shit, I forgot to ask them this, or this came up, or whatever, just shoot me an email. We'll try and get back to you as soon as possible, knowing that literally night and day, we've been working on this for like the past week or so, trying to get everything together. It's been a constant scramble to just make sure that everything's perfect. It's almost like we have some like new friends coming over to like see our place. We want to get the place perfect and looking nice and spiffy. So we're again, I haven't cut my hair, and like I'm gonna have to get a haircut for opening day. I'm gonna call it opening day. No, not cut my hair. Maybe we'll cut it there. I'll buzz it day one. No, Claire wouldn't let me do that. Everyone's been super supportive. I can't thank you guys enough. And to everybody who's a part of this place, you guys are more than just members. We're like a giant community that just pushes each other to be better. So know that you're more than what you think. You guys all play a pivotal role in us being who we are. And the coaches appreciate you guys just as much as I do. So thank you very much. Can't say it again. Can't say it enough. I'm going to see you guys all the time. I'm going to see you every day. Sending you messages. Keeping you fired up. See everybody. There's Aurora. Thank you guys for joining in. Any last questions before we sign off? Yes, I will flex before we sign off. I got a private message about that. I'll send you guys a flex.
I think I win, bro.
There we go. Nice. Flexing from outer space. He's in outer space. All right. It looks like looks like that's it. Everyone's just a bunch of thanks. And again, thank you guys. This has been awesome. All right. That does it. There we go. Boom.
Everybody.
Nice.
See you later.
Everybody.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Sunday fun day. See you guys soon.
Yeah.